As a driver, 28 Rand can only get you so far in a day. Okay, maybe it buys you a little more than a litre of petrol. But will it get your car towed when you need it? Or pay for new wipers or other repairs? Yes! With My Way, you can get cover from 28 Rand per day, and that includes 24/7 roadside assistance, emergency alert, and so much more. From as little as 28 Rand per day, you can let your drive continue. For a quote, visit myway.co.za now and save. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent and T's and C's apply.
Beware of online and phone scams. Never volunteer your personal information like your ID number to strangers. Remember, if they don't have your personal information, they can't use it. The National Credit Regulator Awareness Week. Monday, 27th of March to Friday, the 31st of March. Contact the National Credit Regulator, 0860-627-627.
And back to our news breaking stories. Despite having the world's largest preventative TB therapy program in the entire world, at least 40% of South Africa's TB cases remain undiagnosed. Scientists from the Center for the AIDS Program of Research in Durban say that the COVID-19 pandemic reversed a decade of TB gains. Now, today on World TB Day, the focus is on regaining the momentum to strengthen reductions not only in TB infections, but in deaths as well. This report by Minoshni Pillay.
Caprisa says in 2021, South Africa noted a 6% increase in TB deaths, something they say has not happened before. The global COVID-19 pandemic offset the country's TB gains to find, treat and prevent infections. Now a regrouping is taking place. Caprisa's Deputy Director, Professor Kogi Naidu, is also the head of TB and HIV treatment research. She says the biggest challenge is the number of South Africans living with HIV who are also TB positive. In 2020, South Africa registered about 328,000 new TB infections. An overwhelming 60% of these were among people infected with HIV.
If you do not have HIV, your risk of getting TB is 10% for your entire lifetime. But if you're a person living with HIV, your risk for TB is 10% for every year that you live. The complexity of HIV-associated TB is the high mortality. So the rollout of antiretrovirals and strengthening the immunity in people living with HIV has also helped curb new TB infections in people living with HIV.
At least 40% of South Africa's TB cases remain undiagnosed. Naidu says it is in this gap of the overwhelming number of undetected cases that work needs to be done.
And people end up either coming very late for a diagnosis and then starting treatment late, or not being diagnosed at all and walking around in the community transmitting, and some patients actually demise, they die at home without actually seeking a diagnosis.
All is not lost. Positive results are now being felt through shortened TB preventative regimens that's working to up adherence rates. In the past, therapies were over long periods of time, were complex and came with a multitude of tough and oftentimes debilitating side effects. Naidu explains that work has been done to improve these challenges.
New research has demonstrated the effectiveness of alternative preventive